Holy shit. All right. Can you guys hear me now? I don't know why this keeps. Can you hear me? We good? I don't
I
know
can
why
hear you
this.
now.
Yeah. Okay, we're good. Yeah. All right. So to answer your question, I'm joined with Min Wins is with me today. Uh, so to answer your question, I have no information to believe that I nobody said there's a ban coming. Nobody told me personally there's a ban coming, but I just know looking at this data, there's no way you as a game dev, you saw four Dravens walk right in the top four and said, "Yeah, this is fine." Like, or even data outside of that, you look at the over conversion. This deck over converts every event. I don't care if it wins that it doesn't win every event. That I think is irrelevant. Just look at the pure data conversion, and this deck is a problem. I don't care what the devs are posting on Twitter that there's a secret deck out there. You read the data that you've seen from these last two events in the last 2 weeks, and there's no way any set of developers ever are going to say this doesn't warrant a change. It does.
Yeah,
It's unacceptable.
it's not even just the last 2 weeks. We have China as well, and the results speak for themselves in China too. It consistently came as a top deck, top contender over there. They didn't discover Miracle, or rather, they maybe not knew how to play it over there. I don't know, or they didn't think it was good enough. But just Draven by itself was a data point that was taken over there and brought over here in the U.S. and still the same data point.
Right, exactly. And so I think I'm almost positive something is going to happen, or there'll be a much longer rant incoming after this. There'll be a real bad one. Now, when it's going to happen, that I don't know, because there's a few things to consider. They made it very clear they don't like making changes last minute. They apologized profusely for minor rule changes before the China regionals. I know they've said publicly before they don't like short term changes. And here's the problem. We do have the PPG 25K and the Charlie's 25K. Those things are coming up, but I think that's irrelevant to them because they're not official events. However, in about 3 weeks, we have the Chinese National, I think is what it's called. And that's where they might be wary. Because I think if they're going to make a change, they'd have to make it at the start of next week at the latest to give them 2 weeks. Otherwise, I don't think they're making this change for another till after the Nationals. Today, I'm going to talk about what I think should be on the ban list, what I think they will hit, and what I think should be there. Um, and then I'm going to talk about a little bit about the metal card promo problem. I won't get into that. I kind of gave you guys a preview of what that's going to look like, but I think there is a problem with these metal cards, but that's for later down the line, sort of. So we'll get to that after. Uh, this is my way of kind of giving you guys something visual. I know it's a document. Maybe I should have made a PowerPoint, but I wanted people to be able to kind of go over this with me, and so I could put the things on here as we talk about them in the chat. Isn't there a rumor of a Draven Legend errata that was leaked during the LVRQ? I honestly don't know. I could not tell you. One, I wasn't there, and two, I haven't heard this rumor. They've been very adamant that they do not wish to errata. They've said this in the past. They might go back on this. I don't know. I am willing to bet though that chances are they're not going to. I don't think they're going to errata it because they've been very adamant they don't want errata. I also think erratas are terrible in physical card games, but I think that's all I have to say about that. But
Yeah, Rams are terrible. They already tried to errata things before, and it's been a shit show already. Especially like reflexive triggers. That's already a shit show. People were so confused. I had a couple people who were like, "Wait a second, they changed this again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I know there was a lot about it, and they're like, "Oh, I had no idea." You know,
I I also don't think it's worth feeding any rumors. Like I've heard rumors here and there. Nothing from anything I deem to be credible, so I'm not going to really discuss that stuff. I don't think it's worth. I don't think it's worth talking about because I'm just going to describe what I think they should fix, and then things that I might think they should fix based on just personal anecdotes. Uh, they love but they said they're only doing erratas to functionally fix cards, not to nerf them. They've been very, yeah, I should be clear about that. Yes, I know they've done 8,000 erratas, but those are only functional erratas. There's a difference. A functional errata is just to clarify and make the card work the way it is intended within the framework of the rules, whereas a nerf errata is just actually changing how the card works to make it worse. And we have had some of those happen before, like with Falling Star, Cathene Rain, like delayed triggers got changed, which was like a pseudo nerf sort of, but that was not. They didn't do that for the intent of nerfing it. So
Min's the GOAT. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you.
yeah, so yeah, I should be very clear when I say when I talk about erratas. So let's start off here. Let's start with the must goes, and let's start with Called Shot. No exceptions. This card's broken. I know apples and oranges comparing other games. In any other game, this card would be gone already or wouldn't exist. I can tell you in Magic, this card would never exist. And the closest things they have to it, they're all banned in every format.
Yeah, I agree.
Treasure Cruise, Dig Through Time, Ancestral Recall, etc., etc. This card has to go. No exceptions. There's nothing. This card is broken. It costs 0 mana. The seals bypass it. Ezreal bypassed it. It's clear when they designed this card that they did not consider the ramifications of gold, of what this would do with gold, what this would do with Ezreal, what this would do with seals. This pretty much is the linchpin of every problem deck right now. Miracles, the Ezreal decks, just any sort of deck that's trying to dig through its entire deck. And I use Miracles, that's kind of like a catch-all term. We're applying Miracles to not just like the Draven Miracles deck, but we're talking about like any deck that plays Called Shot and Rasa, pretty much. Even the non-red ones, like I've heard Sivir Miracles thrown out there. I've heard Ezreal Miracles. Like any deck that plays this sort of engine is referred to as a Miracles deck. So I think these decks are overperforming. They're crazy overconverting. And I think that's a big reason that this needs to go. If you've played the Miracles deck, especially the Draven version, this deck beats, if you're not playing like one of the actual top decks, like Draven midrange, or like maybe some sort of like Alan's Ezreal, for example, which when I talked to Prismat at Bologna, he told me, and him and Alan test together, he told me it was a 50-50 matchup. That's what he told me. So even, and that's with Alan playing it. So if you're not like mid-range Draven, or some of these like top decks that are made just to target Miracles, this deck beats everything. Any of the chaff decks, any of the metal card decks, anything that's not just like maybe even Aurelia, for example. Like, it just like dog washes these decks. They don't exist in the eyes of Draven Miracles. It's an incredibly unfun play experience. Trust me, I played against Infinite Miracles, and it is awful to play against.
Terrible.
Yeah. So, just absolute nightmare, unfun deck to play against. And the thing is, cards like this only get better as time goes on. This is not a card that's going to get worse. This is a card that is going to get better and better and better and better. So I think just nip this in the bud right now. If you're not banning it this set, you're banning it next set, you're banning the set after, just get rid of it. There's no reason to keep this around. It is not healthy for the game. I mean, I don't know if you have anything to add on to that, but
Yeah, I mean, going over what everyone else says too, it's true. It's terribly overpowered in Magic. Like you said, everything that's close to its banned. Like, as soon as I saw this preview, and I was like, "What the hell is it?" First, I got excited. Like, don't get me wrong, we all love a good smell, right? But then I was like, "Oh, this is not good for the game, right?" And it's not only just because it's a poor experience just playing like you have to like jam this if you're in purple, right? But also because of the time constraints. The amount of brain power it takes to look at the top two twice and make card selection choices is the problem. It's making time go by so much. And yeah, that's another thing to really add on there.
And so, yeah, okay. We'll discuss the early in the game's life to ban things. I actually think earlier bans are better. I'll talk about that after we kind of go into Draven a little bit and we start putting cards on this list. But I understand where people are hesitant, but I actually have the opposite belief, and I can explain kind of why too afterwards. So yeah, Called Shot must go. So Draven I have on the must go list, but I want to put an asterisk next to this, and I'm gonna see if there's a way. Hold on, I am. As you know, I'm illiterate in all things technology, but I'm gonna put an asterisk next to this little asterisk down here. And the reason I have this asterisk right now is because two reasons. The first one is that I don't believe that Draven absolutely has to go. There's a lot of ways they could fix this. They could errata it. I don't think they're going to do that. They could change the way combat works. I don't think they'll do that either, although I think that would be a more palatable solution. Or they could ban a lot of the cards in this engine. Like if they really didn't want to touch the legend rather. The second reason is I think they don't want to touch the legend. And as someone pointed out in the chat, it's not you just ban the legend, you ban a signature spell too until you print another one. And you also like kind of devalue the chosen champs, which is another problem. So when I have Draven must go, I just mean that I think Draven has to be hit in some way. Whereas Called Shot, I don't think there's any exception. Whereas like Draven, you could hit a lot of pieces. And it's no secret. Purple is through the roof. You hit Draven, and the next purple monster takes its place, right? Like there's already two other champs in this color that are perfect. Like Annie is still perfectly fine in my opinion. Jinx is more of a metal card thing, but like Jinx is still like could just play a Draven deck if you really wanted to, albeit the leader's ability is much worse. So this is where kind of the secondaries are going to come in, because I think the secondaries are going to be more, what do I think, let's say we're not banning Draven Legend here, which I still advocate to ban Draven Legend, but let's say we're not doing that, or let's say we even do ban Draven Legend, I still think purple has to be brought down a notch. And that's why I want to talk about the problem cards, and I want you guys to like, you can give your opinion here as I go through and kind of add more cards, but this is where I'll start getting into like the secondaries, the things that I think need to be banned immediately, and then what I call a perfect world scenario where it's like, if you've ever read like George G's Twitter, he talks about these like he thinks like 10 or 15 cards should be banned. Well, that's kind of the in a perfect worlds. There are cards that I see in this game, and it's not the same list as his, but there are cards that I see in this game that I think, you know what, these cards don't immediately demand a ban, but I can see where the issue is. I see where the issues that these cards create. And I don't think it's 15 cards. It's probably closer to like maybe 7, 8 cards. But like these are cards where I'm just like, the games could do without these cards. Like these cards should have just never been printed. They're not good enough to ban yet, but like, why do they exist? Homer Limpson, thank you for the Prime sub. Much appreciated, my mans.
Thank you, Homer.
Thank you, Homer. Before I get into it, let's look at some. What's the chance that they'll add a ban restriction errata before the next regional? I would be willing to bet any money it will happen.
Yeah, me too.
I would. If they didn't, this will be a much longer live video next time. Draven would low-key never get banned. I do think it creates a weird optics issue with the metal cards, so I do agree with you. I don't think they will ban Draven Legend, but I'm not ruling it out. I think it's less likely they errata him than they ban him.
Someone pointed out changing how combat winning is would help that, and I do agree with that too.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think that's enough by itself. I think they have to do more, but I think that's a good start. Purple Ez is fine. Called Shot is the issue. Absolutely agree, Robbie. If Called Shot is gone, I have absolutely no issues with Purple Ez. 100% agree. Being the cards that make purple strong in the first place, well, that's part of what we're going to talk about, kind of. I have a joke. I'm running. The next time George complains on Twitter, I'm going to post, George, every time you complain on Twitter, Dave Guskin prints another unit with deflect. Every single time. I'm going to tag him in it too. So let's talk about it a little bit.
Do you think we'll ever see Battlefield bans? I do. I do think so too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's going to be in this. We're about to get right into that. So let's talk about our first evildoer. Let's. Oh, I need an apostrophe. God damn it.
This is a good
Reaver's
segue.
Row.
Good segue, huh?
Reaver's Row. The evil Reaver's Row.
Empire Strikes Back looking at us.
Yeah, so here we go. Evil Reaver's Row. This is the first card on my list. You've heard us say it on our Twitter before if you follow us there. Evil Reaver's Row. What does this do for Draven? So pretty much Draven right now is one of the only decks really using this. Kaisa uses it a little, but it's the only like real big tier deck that's using this. And this card makes game one absolutely miserable to play because of how it works with combat. And for those of you who don't know, you should already know, but if you don't, if you back out against a unit that if Draven attacks you and you back out with Reaver's Row effect, they draw the card. If your guy if it's the only guy on the battlefield that leaves, they are still drawing. But Draven doesn't risk anything. It doesn't say you draw a card when you in combat. So now they get to protect their guys forever and just keep attacking you and pushing you. And they create so much tempo, especially when they go first with the Treasure Hunter, because now all that power is free. For the rest of the game, you're never going to get to kill that Treasure Hunter. That Treasure Hunter is going to ride forever and just keep going in, backing out, going in, backing out, and just making gold. And it is going to be an absolute nightmare to play against. The other problem too is their chosen champ is effectively a 6 might guy, right? So the Treasure Hunter makes the gold. Then you make the Draven Chosen Champ, and now the gold keeps feeding the Draven Chosen Champ, so it can attack pretty much anything that you put on this Reaver's Row in the first 3 turns, because it goes up to 6 might. The gold it's paying, it's free power, right? And then if he wins, he makes that gold back. So it just like, it's like kind of this, it's creating this like ecosystem of value pretty much, where you're not paying power, you're drawing cards every time you do combat, and your opponent just cannot abuse it the same way that you do. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the first things in my mind that goes. I think this will be unhealthy again at some point, but this is probably one of the top of my lists for how do I hurt Draven. Okay, this is it. Zach, I agree with most things, but your metal card takes I can't get behind. You might like, okay. You wait till we get to the metal card things, but it's not. I put the metal card problem, but I said yesterday it's a little bit of a clickbait. So we'll get to that when we get to that, though. Best change would be getting rid of Cold Shot and then change how combat works. Sure, yeah. Overzealous fan. Overzealous fan is not on this list. Although I do think Overzealous. I think Overzealous fan's overpowered, but I like Overzealous fan. I'll talk about that a little later. Reaver's Row. Min, anything to add to Reaver's Row? Let's hear it.
No, I think you hit it right on the money. Reaver's Row is just a menace. It's been a menace since Kaisa, and it continues to be a menace, man. It's just so flexible.
So let's get to issue number 2.
Trogbar, thank you for the Prime sub.
Yes, thank you so much. Much appreciated.
It's also rather silly with Stellacorns. Yes. Oh my god.
So let's get to the next one. This is a 2-part issue because I think one of these has to go. Oh, okay. Piltover Archive has exploded. But let's start with this one, and I'm gonna put both of these in here at once because I think they're both issues and they both do create different annoying scenarios for the game. So we're gonna start with Fight or Flight. And the other one is Rebuke.
Oh, that's a cool stat. Did you see what Piltover Archive said?
What?
Of all set 2 legends, Draven is the number 2 most built deck on Piltover Archive.
Oh, very interesting. I wonder what number 1 is.
It's gotta be Kaisa, right? Or Ari. It's gotta be Ari. What is it? Who knows?
Okay, so here we go. There you go, guys. So Rebuke, Fight or Flight. I put these both together. I don't think both of these cards need to go, but one of them has to go. I do not think both of these cards. These cards create kind of this purple, like they contribute to this purple shell of how do I play around all the things. And when you're playing against a red deck, it's very easy, right? They're using damage based removal. When you're playing against blue, it's usually they're shrinking you, right? Like you have like a general idea. It's just adjusting the number, right? Like 3 mana is Void Seeker, 1 mana is Hextech Ray, 2 mana is Smokescreen. Like you have a general idea because these cards all do. The color pie is very kind of linear in this way, where when you're playing against these decks, you kind of know what they're doing. But on top of that, a lot of these things are not absolute. And what I mean by absolute is that Fight or Flight or Rebuke just say, your guy's power is not going into combat. I'm paying 2 mana to do that. He's negated. Where something like Void Seeker is like, well, your guy's power is only not going into combat if he has 4 might or less. And anything bigger than that, he's going to stick around. And, oh, if you have a pump, too, now it's even worse for me because I just, like, blew this out. So here's I see you guys. I see the comments firing off here. So these cards are both absolutes, and they both cost 2 mana, and they both have different things that I hate about them. Rebuke, fine in set 1. What happened in set 2? Well, I think one of my teammates phrased it the best, where it's kind of like Rebuke is paying for the sins of Gold, and that's true. Rebuke got so much better because of Gold. And Gold has made this card an absolute menace to deal with because half the time you're only paying like 1 power, if even that. And then a lot of decks are now including seals too, so it's negated it's negated the power cost in that way. So Rebuke is especially heinous because it invalidates a lot of these top end decks that are trying to go over the top of Draven. Have kind of been nullified by Rebuke. And normally that's fine to have a punish for these decks, but having one that costs 2 mana when every other deck is so much more steep than this. Like the next best one is like Hidden Blade, right? And they get to draw 2 cards for that. Like you still have to pay the 1 power, but they get to draw a card. So like, and that's the next best thing, and yellow is kind of just not great right now. It's better Vengeance. Yes, Zach. Think about Vengeance. Think about what Vengeance does and what this card does. Now, Vengeance can snipe in base, but Vengeance is not action speed. Vengeance costs 4 as well, too. And a lot of these units, when you put them back in the hand, it's the same thing as killing them. They're not coming back. Like, they're dead. They're donezo. Like, you effectively killed them. So Rebuke is just one of the most annoying cards because it forces you to, just like Fight or Flight, it forces you to risk combat. But like I was talking about before, Purple has all these different cards that are doing different things. To play around Switcheroo, you have to do one thing. To play around Rebuke, you have to do one thing. To play around Fight or Flight, you're doing another thing. To play around Draven's Axe, you're doing another thing. These things all do different things, sort of. Fight or Flight and Rebuke are the most similar, and that they completely nullify combat, which is why they're on this list over something like Switcheroo or Draven's Axe, or Ride the Wind's another one you have to play around. But these two are the ones, in my mind, that are the most heinous. So we talked about Rebuke, let's talk about Fight or Flight. Well, I actually think, I've been convinced in the last few days by my teammates that I think Fight or Flight might be the bigger issue. And originally I felt Rebuke was. But now I've started to come around on the idea that maybe Fight or Flight's actually the issue, because this card does something similar to Rebuke, where when you're running into this, you are risking the game. Like, you are, like, when you're doing a big combat into this, especially against Draven, you now have to send in 2 cards to compensate, right? Like, you're like, okay, let's say they have, like, their Draven Chosen Champ on a battlefield, and you're like, all right, that guy can go to a 6. They have 2 up. He can go to a 9 with an axe, right? So I have to, or he could just push me out with Fight or Flight. So I have to send 2 guys in just to beat him naturally, right? And now I get Fight or Flighted, right? So now that combat is like probably donezo for me. Even if I have a trick of my own, I'm probably losing that combat. Same thing though. If I send one big guy in to try to win, what if I just get switcherooed now? Now I can't beat switcheroo with one big guy. I could beat a fight or flight, send a big guy, and then the two little guys, right? But if I get switcherooed, now I lose the one big guy, right? Or I get rebuked, now I lose the one big guy. And it creates all these scenarios that are additionally punishing because now my opponent draws a card too. So it's not even like I can wear them down. So now I'm going to lose my smaller unit if I sent two in or they switcherooed my bigger one or rebuked my bigger one. So I'm going to lose one of my units, but they're also going to draw a card for their troubles too. And I mean, if it's Draven Chosen Champ, they'll make a gold. Why not? Like, yeah, so purple was given every tool. It even has a counter spell, which I'm not going to go down that path, but that should not be there. Like, I don't think that's bannable, but like, why? Why is that there? Like, it's like if they just gave like, it'd be like if in Magic they're just like red has counterspell now. Like, why? So this fight or flight's second problem, and this is a design of the game I'm starting to really detest, is hidden. Hidden is honestly what puts this card way the fuck over the top. Because when you play against a Draven, I can tell you I've seen it 8,000 times. If you ever play against, especially Draven midrange, this is how it goes. They'll get to 6. They're going to stack those battlefields, and you can't really afford to hold against them. It's very hard to hold against a Draven deck unless you have overwhelming amounts of might because of these combat invalidators, right? So you go to move in against them, and you stay in against them. Like, let's say you're in the position to retreat, right? Let's say they're at 4 or whatever. You're in a position to retreat. You're probably going to do it because you don't want to stay in because you could just lose. You could just get blown out and lose your whole board, right? Like they're attacking with Ferris Forerunners, they're attacking with Draven Chosen Champ. They have a lot of might, and these combat invalidators are very hard to win on defense as well as they are offense. So you back out, right? You're like, I'm scared. This is Draven's perfect opportunity because what they do now is they go, all right, stuff the battlefields as heavy as I can. I'm going to put all my mana. Maybe I'll leave 2 up. Maybe there's a Targon's Peak, so I'll get 2 more. But I'm going to conquer. I'm going to go to 6, and I'm going to stuff these as deep as I can with a Ferris Forerunner. That's like my arch nemesis, the Draven Chosen Champ, whatever else I have. Just throw it all into the battlefield. I'm going to leave 2 up, but hey, I know I'm going to win the game right here. I know this is like my final push. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set 1 card in each battlefield because they play infinite sets. There is almost no way to properly play around all their sets. They have Tide Turner, they have Fight or Flight, they have Switcheroo. Between the 3 of these, there's no way, you're really just guessing. And sometimes you can use your common sense. It's like, okay, this is a small battlefield, this is a Tide Turner. He's going to try to pull the Ferris Forerunner over here. Like, there is some common sense, but a lot of the times, you're just guessing. And these hidden cards, especially Fight or Flight, are just free. So now they've got a full might of battle. They've got 2 battlefields filled with might. They've got their 2 mana up, so they still have another trick in their hand, which you don't know what it is. And they've got 2 sets. So they've effectively left up 3 pieces of defense on top of 2 full battlefields that you need to break through. Yeah, like, it's so the hidden on this just makes it so annoying, and it's not just when they're ending the game, it's in the mid game too. And it's even like, you might think like, oh well, like I can just leave the guy in the battlefield, right? But it's like, no, a lot of the times they'll actually just fight or flight their own guy back and then go to the other side. Like, it's insurmountable what this card does. And I think this is the card that I want to see go because it not only hits Draven, but every purple deck is going to be playing this card till it rotates. Rebuke's also not a 3 of. That's the other thing. Rebuke's usually a 2 of. Some decks play 1. But Fight or Flight is here to stay. This card will be in every purple deck in some number, probably 3, until it is gone. I think this card has to go. I think the hidden puts it over the top. I think costing 2 is one of the worst things you can put on this card. This is the question scenario. I'll leave you with this before we move on to the next card. This was another George G scenario. Void Seeker, a card that we all agree was a very good playable card in set 1. And it's not like 4 might units have become less prevalent. In fact, they're more prevalent now, I would argue. There's a lot of 4 might units that you can hit with it. Voidseeker is a very good card. 4 for 3, that's like on rate good. Draw a card. That card sees almost zero play right now in good decks. Almost none. And they play red. It's not like red went away. Red is still there. Let me ask you this question, and we won't get into the answers till the end. But how much damage does Voidseeker have to deal to be playable right now? How much damage does it? Min, what do you think?
5. I think it needs to do 5 at least.
5. So at least 5. A minimum of 5 damage. This is a card that everyone agreed was universally good in set 1. Like a very good card. Like let's say it's like a 7 out of 10 card. Maybe some people rate it higher, maybe lower, but it's in that average 7 out of 10, let's say. And it sees zero play. And not because, it got any less playable. It's just all the other cards are so much better now. So, Min, do you have anything to add before I'm sure you have some thoughts. I've been doing most of the talking. I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Rebuke or Fight or Flight getting banned either. Like people said, there's a lot more sets going on. I do think that purple is way stronger, right? It is imbalanced, but I do think that we're gonna see stronger things in other colors, but it's nowhere near as bad as Call Shot, obviously, which is why it's in the secondary. But we all have our own opinions.
So I'm reading through some comments before I go to the next one. I see a lot of people are mad. They're like, "Don't ban anything. This is whining. This feels whiny." And I want to be clear. This is not a negativity on the game. This is not a Riftbound sucks. Don't play this game. This is me advocating for the game to get better. And I'll touch a little bit on what I said earlier. Like someone said, "Why bans this early in a game's life?" As a guy who's played every butthole card game from here to Japan, the first few sets are your most important. Your absolute most important. And when casuals, come into your game and they go to play a locals and their opponent plays 30 might worth of guys on turn 4 and they're trying to play not even a bad deck, like their Fiora deck, like their Rek'Sai deck, decks that are like middle tier-ish. And they're just getting destroyed over and over and over again. And this is not like they're playing like bad decks. Of course they're going to get destroyed into the tier 1 deck. Like, no. The difference between these decks is night and day. Like, the gap is like as wide as the Grand Canyon. It's not a good experience for new players to come in and play against this stuff. It's frustrating. Look at the data from the top events. If you're a guy who just showed up at Vegas for the first time, just trying to have fun and a good time, and first round, you're up against Colin Kaiser, and he just absolutely demolishes you because he put 30 might worth of guys on turn 3. You didn't even feel like you had a chance. And Colin's a great player, but it's not even that. Like, you could have played against Joe Schmo. You could play against me, and I put 30 might on the board against you, and you're just like, wow, that doesn't feel good. Like, that's a miserable tournament experience. I think balancing a game in the early stages is the most important. And I've described this before to people as breaking, like, when you're drinking beer, breaking the seal when you piss the first time and then you keep pissing. Designers have this thing where they need to get over this ban hump. They need to break the seal. They need to, just get over it. Once you make your first ban, it's much easier to make the next one. But I see this time and time again in games where the developers are very hesitant they try to go as long as possible without banning, which I think is good. Don't get me wrong. I think that's fine. Like, you don't want to ban things. Like, you want to be able to say, look how healthy our game is. We're great designers. We never have to ban things. But it's also okay to admit you made a mistake, that there are oversights. Your game gets better, not worse. I think bans are good. Like, I think the number of people who are going to be upset because their favorite deck Draven was banned versus the number of people who are going to be excited because now their unplayable deck is now actually moves up a tier, those people are going to outnumber the Draven lovers 10 to 1. So that's what I'll say on that. I think, I think they need to. I think early bans are good when they're warranted, and I do think they're warranted here. And I think too, if you let the problem persist longer, that does more damage to your game. Like, oh, let's wait. We could wait till see what set three does. Well, what if set three doesn't make it better? Now you've burned another X amount of months, and then you get. What if you say, well, set four will fix it? Okay, well now we wait 3 more months. Like, how long does it have to be? Because the TCG industry moves fast nowadays. People don't stick around. They leave. They will go elsewhere. They're not interested in waiting. If your game sucks or is unfun for them to play, they're not going to stick around and wait. They have a ton of other options. It's not 2015 anymore where it's Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and the butthole game of the month or the year or whatever. Like, there's tons of options now, and people will just go back to where they came from. Like, truly.
Yeah.
So that's my rant on why I think early bans are actually good.
And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I want everyone to know that Alex isn't coming from a place of negativity that this game sucks. I don't want to play this game anymore. In fact,
Yes,
it's the opposite.
yes.
He's telling you guys passionately about why he thinks that there should be changes because he cares about this game. He loves this game with us. And we all want to see the game do healthy, like do better and grow together. And this isn't him saying like these need to go either. This is his suggestions. You know, everyone has their own opinions and you have the right to your own opinions, even if it's wrong, you know. So that's what I gotta say about it.
Right. So I see a lot of people in the chat are conflicted because some people think I'm rage baiting. I'm not. I truly am not. I really truly believe this will help the health of the game. I really think I really truly believe this. It's not a rage bait. Like, the only rage bait you that is occurring tonight is the metal leader card problem, which, trust me, once I get to that take, you'll understand I'm not baiting.
Oh, I agree
Uh,
with you, Waffles. You set the precedence that you made a mistake. It is a good thing. I respect somebody who says I made a mistake. You know, I trust them, right? And like exactly what Tog said too. Bans happen in games, and it's so fun to refigure out a meta, right? It almost feels like it's solved right now, right? We had China, and now we had U.S. regionals. A couple of them go by, and Bologna went by, and it feels like the meta is kind of solved already. It's getting a little stale. You know, everyone's been playing so much of it because it kind of is already, and it's because you can't play these these legends that have purple in it without the miracle package unless you're Draven, right? Or Ezreal.
um, Yeah, I misunderstood. Sorry, I thought you said I was rage baiting. I'm like, I'm not rage baiting. Trust me, guys. Like, I'm very dead serious when I explain my takes. They may be sometimes they're a little jumbled, but if you put the pieces together, they're pretty solid. At least I'd like to think. And this is something else. I've seen a couple people say this. Well, what if set three changes stuff? I don't know what's in set three. I don't know
That's
that.
true.
Like, if the devs are making this decision because they truly believe set three will fix this, fine, so be it. But I don't know that. I can only make the takes with the information I was given. I don't know what set three is, so I can only tell you what I'm seeing in front of my face and make my takes based off of that. Um, so yeah, is it Dave's alt in the chat?
Wait, someone said that these bans would be in your favor is why you're advocating for them?
No,
Brother,
why would they be in
we,
my favor? Like, we're
all of
doing
us
great,
played
man.
this. Yeah, like
Yeah,
we'll play the miracle decks. Fuck it, I'll play the miracle
yeah.
deck.
Well, Rossum was 8-0 day one. So was Colin. Like, we're not out here doing bad, man. It's like when we're doing well and advocating for bans, that should be something that should be a sign that we care, right? Like, I've advocated for the cards that I've played to be banned before in games I've had much success in. So this is not advocating in my favor. I could just play Draven. Like, I'm like, I want it to be very clear. Like, I'm not like, there's nothing in my favor here. I'm going to just play the best deck most of the time, and well, I guess I'm playing Rek'Sai right now, so maybe you could argue that I am advocating for Rek'Sai, but I promise you, Draven dying will not be what makes Rek'Sai good. So, um,
By the
yes,
way,
ban everything until T.
if you want to learn how to play Miracle and Draven, we got some articles for you. It's in our favor. Keep playing. I don't know.
Yes. The miracle problem also is a time issue as well. I didn't get into that here, and I didn't discuss it. I think that issue has kind of been discussed. I'm only talking from a balanced perspective. not a tournament. I'm not discussing from a tournament perspective, but you are correct. The called shot stack deck issue, creating time issues is another reason. I don't believe in banning cards for that reason. I think judges just need to do and players need to do a better job about making people play faster. I've never been an advocate for this card takes too long. I will throw that in as a reason sometimes, but it has to be unbalanced too. Unless there's some deck that's so obscure that it's literally just like a one game combo deck because the combo takes so long, but I've only seen that like once or twice in my entire TCG career of like 15 plus years of playing competitively. So, is it confirmed there'll be bans? No, this is just, I think there will be bans because of how crazy the format is. So moving on, these are the secondaries. Min, let's hear any other secondaries. These are the first ones that come to mind. I saw a few people post on Twitter. I saw a few people say Obelisk of Power. I actually like Obelisk of Power. I actually think Obelisk of Power does a lot to make going second a little better for you. So I actually fuck with Obelisk of Power. I saw a few people post that on their Twitter predictions. But I don't want Obelisk of Power. It's not one that's on my radar right now. So I'm gonna not. I don't think that's worth noting. Min, let's hear your takes. What do you think? Anything else that I might have missed?
Yeah, I don't like banning something like Obelisk of Power because it's symmetrical, right?
Right.
And that it's helpful for both sides, but then you set a precedence that like anything that changes the rules of the game basically needs to be changed, right? Arena's Victory or Aspirant's Climb or things of that nature. Then where's the stop on that, right? And I don't like that. I like that they're creative with the battlefields, and it's okay to get a little, some battlefields are complete dog shit. Some battlefields are like, ooh, it's really cool because you start seeing some battlefields where you're like, oh, I can take advantage of this in my deck, and these players might not be able to. But then you get hidden things where you're like, oh, I can use this to untap my seal. It's really exciting, right? Um, so I know that somebody mentioned in the chat they don't like playing against Bryn. What are your thoughts about Bryn?
Bryn is probably going to be somewhere in my perfect world. Bryn is very polarizing when I've talked to people. Some people say this game needs Bryn because of the purple problem. Other people say Bryn makes this game unfun. I do not enjoy this because I'm trying to play an interaction deck and Bryn has ruined me. I'll get to Bryn. But I think Bryn is a card that could maybe be in a perfect world. Like I think Bryn is like maybe a card that could be in that section. I don't think it's in the secondaries for me right now. The only other thing I might like to see is some way. There's one other card that I think goes in here, and this will be maybe a little bit more of a hot take. So I'll get to it. This is the last card I think.
I do like Bryn personally. I think they should have made him cost 3 mana though, and then also can bounce a creature and draw a card. Oh wait, that's in Magic, right? Never mind.
All right, there we go. And for our fourth and final card. Oh, wait, what did I just do? I just undid it somehow. All right. I don't know why. I think I just hit delete or something. But our fourth and final card. I am not fluent enough to understand. Why does it keep doing that? What am I doing? Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna paste it because I apologize, guys. I don't understand how technology works.
We know you're using Word document.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I do. When I say I'm dumb as bricks, like I am dumb as bricks. Like I don't know what to tell you. Finally, the last one, Stellacorn Herder. Alex, why the fuck is Stellacorn Herder on this list? Well, sometimes when you make bans, you have to think about what comes next. And does the thing that comes next do you see a problem coming next? Um, and I do see a problem a little bit. Is that even though these cards are all purple, they're very light in Aurelia, which is arguably the next best deck, right? Uh, I think that there needs to be some hit to Aurelia. I think this deck, okay, I know, don't jump down my throat here. I think this deck, Aurelia, is the next best deck in the format, and I have seen this deck do some absolutely despicable things. I have seen this deck, and they all revolve around Stellacorn Herder. This guy comes out and just absolutely runs the house, especially against slower decks. Like, this card is insurmountable, especially with all the respawners, all the tricks. I think this card is a card that you hit to preemptively get at Aurelia. But it's not just Aurelia. This card is broken in any sort of green deck that can just protect it and dance because they have the respawners. And now that Falling Star doesn't break through the respawners, so if you had Zonias, you could double Falling Star this and it would die. It doesn't do that anymore. So now I think this card is an absolute menace. I absolutely detest this card. I don't think this card... This is kind of my hot take in here. This card, I think, carries the entire deck. And the games where Aurelia sees Herder and does not are again, Grand Canyon. Like, massive gap. Like, this card, this is just a poorly printed card. I won't, like... Think of what 4-cost cards cost power. Prize of Progress. Prize of Progress. Look up the card Prize of Progress. That card costs a power. This card does not. Why does this card not cost a power? I always talk about Prize of Progress.
You do. You always default to that.
Yes. Why?
I also think 3 might is kind of so high.
It's too much. It's too much. It's way too much. I think this card is already crazy, but I think it only gets crazier. There's no reason to have something like this. For 2 mana less, you get a 2-might that makes you discard then draw. For just 2 more mana, you get a card that does this, draws every single time with no downside. And like, Fight or Flight is a real issue with this card, right? Like, the biggest issue is when you play this, your opponent's like a slower deck, or like they don't have tricks. So the next turn, you have 6 up, right? Because you went first. And your opponent was on their turn 2, and you're just like, okay, move to a battlefield. They probably can't stop you, right? They're going to retreat. You're an Aurelia deck. They're not trying to leave their guy to get gobbled up by whatever tricks you have. So you move in, then you Fight or Flight to the other side. So you draw a card from moving, you Fight or Flight to the other side, you draw another card, then you retreat it, so now it's protected, they can't even kill it, and you draw another card. That's 3 cards. You scored twice and drew 3 cards for your troubles. And you're still leaving 4 up. So, like, this card is just the nuts. Like, this is my, like, hot take in here. Like, this is probably the bottom of the list for me because it's not the immediate problem. But I think this card is an issue. And it might be a reach to say this card is the next one on my list, but I detest this card. I hate it. It's true, I don't play green. Like, I don't play this style of green. So, like, again, my bias is probably showing here, but I think this card's a menace. I hate this card. So that's the end of my the must goes. Let's talk about the In a Perfect World. And I apologize that there's not a better format. Next time I will have a better way to have done this. Where do you play Toys R Us? Dude, Toys R Us used to be heat. I'll tell a little anecdote about Toys R Us real quick, where when we were kids, they used to have Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments there, and there was a rule that at the time, if the cashier didn't ask you for batteries, they had to give you a free drink. So me and my brother would go up and buy a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards one at a time, and we would go through each different aisle because they'd always forget to ask you for batteries. And maybe 6 months later, they upgraded it to a $5 gift card. So then we got real crazy with it, and we would go in and we would buy a pack, which was $4. We'd get the $5 gift card, and then we go to the next aisle, use the $5 gift card to buy another pack, and then get another gift card. It was crazy. It was like infinite money glitch IRL.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
They would always forget. always they would forget to ask you. So,
Wait,
uh, yeah.
what?
So,
What if you like brought a pack of batteries up there? Could you still go get away with that? Like,
oh, we weren't that creative. That's crazy.
like why would they ask you, right? Like,
mm, so, in a perfect world. So,
oh,
these
speaking
are
of which, Bucks
cards.
a Million too. Bucks a Million
What's
back in the day.
what is it?
Books a Million? Do you remember that?
Books a million?
Oh, you guys didn't have Books a Million. All right, we in Florida we have Books a Million, which is like a big ass like place where you buy books and stuff, and they hosted tournaments there, like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, Pokemon tournaments, and
Oh
shit.
no, no, no! It's a store. Okay, no, we didn't have nothing like that. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no.
Books
We
a Million
had
for all these OGs out
you
there.
had you had Toys R Us, and you had like I grew up in I live in New Hampshire. You had one local card store that you went to. Shout out Double Midnight Comics. I don't really go there anymore, but that was the only card store anybody went to. So anyway, so let's get to the In a Perfect Worlds. In a Perfect Worlds, because I know people are going to enter this chat and rage when they see this. These are cards that I think the game would be better off without, but do not demand an immediate ban. I don't think they have to be banned immediately. I think these are cards that I find are more mistakes than they are cards that I think need to be banned. However, I would like to see these cards. If I was Dave Guskin, I would send these cards to the Shadow Realm if given the opportunity. Again, not cards I think need to be banned, just cards that I wish didn't exist, and like I could see them warranting a ban. So I'll feed you guys an easy one. God, this is being so slow. To start with, Dazzling Aurora. This is an easy one. Like, why does this card exist? They admitted this was an oversight. Get rid of this. This card sucks. Like, it sucks to play against. This card's broken. And I'm an Aurora enjoyer. I played the Year Aurora deck. Like, I played this at, like, the 10Ks and whatnot. Like, half our team did. Like, so this is where I say, like, when I talk about I don't want bans to help me, I love Aurora. I love to play Aurora. But this card, this was a mistake. Get this card the fuck out.
Yeah.
This is pretty much bottlenecking every bomb you design for the rest of time. Now, every time you print a card that costs 7, 8, 9, or more mana, you have to think about, well, what happens if they roll 3 of this out, if they just keep churning these out with Aurora? And then you have to think how it interacts with the other bombs, because that's all you're doing is churning out bombs, right? Aurora is a little more counterable now. Yes, this is true, but this card, I think, is just, it's only going to get better. Like, the more you print, the more bombs you print, the better this card gets. Because, like I've discussed this before, questions are always better than answers. So when I play an Aurora, this is a card that's going to be in my deck no matter what. But for you to kill it with a salvage, even though it's a huge tempo, well, it's not even because I get a guy, right? For you to kill that, you have to play salvage in your deck, a card that does nothing otherwise. And you have to not only have it when I play the Dazzling Aurora, but when you draw it and I don't play Aurora, you're just down a card now. Like, that card just rots in your hand. Like, it's not proactive for you. It's just there strictly to answer my bad thing. And then sometimes I'll have the question and you won't have the answer. So, like, this is why broken questions are better than good answers. So, I don't know if you have anything to add to this.
I mean, you know my take on Aurora. I love Aurora. I met you when I played Aurora. We shook hands playing Aurora.
Oh my god, I keep hitting some button that keeps deleting all these things. I don't know what I'm hitting, but
But I do think it's unfair. Anything that creates like free value, like over and over and over again, just doesn't make any sense.
Right. I think this card is broken. It will be the center point of a lot of decks for a long time. And I think the biggest issue is it bottlenecks the bombs. This is the truth. Like, you're just, every bomb you print now, you have to think, well, what happens if this goes in Aurora deck? And because it's a 2-color combination, as soon as they make those enemy pairing, like the opposing pairings, every color will be with orange, right? Like, they'll have, so there'll be any bomb could be in an Aurora deck. Yeah, maybe they are some crazy takes. Like I said, this is the In a Perfect Worlds. Man, let's get yours. What's an in a perfect world for you? Let's. I want to hear you. I want to hear you give me one.
Oh, in a perfect world, dude. Okay, in a perfect world, this game would have the resources, like management system that it has without anything like gold, without any seals, without Aurora, without things that cheat things out like that, without cost reductions that go beyond, one or beyond like whatever the card is printed. I think card reduction is so is such a what do you call it? It's such a cheesy way to cheat out resources. It shouldn't exist, but it happens. I like that there's taxing. Things getting taxed is pretty good, but this is all just in a perfect world, right? We have these things, they exist, but that's my little rant.
So someone pointed out Akshan can steal this. That's true, but a lot of these Aurora decks actually have ways like so. They do actually have ways to deal with that, which you do get. You do get one roll of the Aurora, but like the thing is, your deck that you're Akshaning with is not designed to roll good things out of Aurora. So you'll Akshan it, you'll pay your 2 power, you'll get a guy, you'll have a nice tempo swing for a turn. But if they have a way to deal with your Akshan, you're sick. And this is a guy who's coming. I've tested Akshan versus Aurora. When they have a way to deal with it, you're sick because or they have another Aurora because the Aurora's doesn't actually do a ton for you. You've kind of like
It's true.
it sounds really good on paper, but you've kind of just done salvage with extra risk now. Like yes, you have the upside, but the upside's not huge for you, especially if you're in a deck like Fiora or Set. Whereas like for them, it's massive. And then these decks have a lot of ways to deal with Akshan. They have Charm if they're in the E version. They have what is it? They have Falling Star if they're Volibear. If they're MF, they have Challenge. They all have Challenge. They all have Challenge at a baseline. But then they have these extra things too that they can do to it. So I think for me, this is like kind of one of my hot takes. It's Aurora. So this is the next one. I'm going to go a little faster through these because these are kind of just like cards that I want you to think about. They're not cards that I'm demanding be banned. So this one might be personal bias. This is my arch nemesis. I hate this card. I'm a Rek'Sai player, but I do have good reasons, and I think this card is unhealthy. And boy, do I hate this fucking guy. Ferris Forerunner. Absolutely despise this guy. He's the bane of my existence. But it's not just a bias here. This guy, I promise you, the moment that like Rebuke is not like, let's say Rebuke gets banned, this guy is going to be an absolute menace. Nobody else. I feel like this is I feel like more like card game woke for no, like the real ones know. Ferris Forerunner is absolutely miserable to play against. It doesn't matter what I just played against him like for 6 hours today. I played from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. and every deck I played against had Ferris Forerunner in it. And this guy is awful, awful. Mountain Drake, for reference, is a 9 mana 10 stats. This is a 6 mana 12 stats. And it does cost a power, but 1 power is very small, especially when we have gold running around or seals or whatever. But I'll go a step further, and you might say, well, Alex, the Mountain Drake, the Butthole Dragon as I call him, he's a 10 might, this is only 6, so this doesn't win fights the same way. But this is better because it's staggered. A Mountain Drake you can actually kill with spot removal. You could Vengeance a Mountain Drake. You could win a fight against a Mountain Drake and he's gone. Like there's a lot of ways that you can deal with this Mountain Drake. You could you can switcheroo the Mountain Drake. Like there's a lot of ways to deal with Mountain Drake even though he's a 10 might and he's not nearly as annoying. This guy, you cannot deal with him. No matter how you kill him, he is printing these 2 tokens. He's making more stats. And the worst part is, he solves issues where, okay, sometimes you get punished for forking, right? Like, you can't get guys back to base, but these guys go back to base too. So now, even though you've captured, let's say you pivot to one, they pivoted hard on one side, you go to crush the Forerunner, and you're on the other side, and they can make the pivot to the other side because they've got these 2 tokens back. This card is insufferable. I promise you, this card, now, it doesn't seem as bad, right? Because Rebuke's around, and Rebuke, again, invalidates cards like this. Like, it pretty much is the only way to get rid of this guy without triggering his effect. And this is a card that could get less worse. Like, if there was a removal spell that just said, like, kill a guy, blink a guy's effect, kill him. Okay, fine. That makes this better. But again, questions are always better than answers. And granted, if you look at how costly a card like Vengeance is, or a card like Drag Under is, even if you have the answer, it's not a tempo swing, right? Like, you're not going positive in mana. So the best thing you're doing is answering, and you're not getting tempo out of it. Like, maybe if they had, like, a 3 or a 4 mana card that said, blank a guy, kill it, right? Or, like, maybe there's a card that said, kill a 5 might unit or higher, blank its effect, and it was cheap, like 3 mana. Okay, that's good, because you're getting tempo, right? Like, even though you're going card for card, your thing costs 3 less than theirs did. So, there's some tempo to be had there, but anything they print to deal with this is just going to cost the same as this. And again, the question is better than the answer in that scenario. So this is where I asked myself, okay, if Rebuke is banned, what would I like to see go next? And it's Fair's Forerunner. I promise you, if red decks are dominant, this guy will be in every single red deck. There's no downside to him. And the best answer to him if Rebuke is gone will be him. He will be the answer to him. He'll crack him. He'll make 2 more. There's so many knobs they could have turned on this guy to make him fair. But he is producing more than a lot of the 8, 9, and 10 drops in this game. Like, this guy is just crazy, and the staggering makes him just a nightmare to deal with. The staggering is honestly what makes it the worst. This guy would have been busted. He would be a staple if he just made 1/3/3 tokens. I stand by that. You make him make just 1/3/3 tokens, and he's still playable. So yeah, this card, this is my nemesis card. So there is definitely a lot of bias, but I feel like if you play against this card, especially if you're playing the non-purple decks, this card is just an absolute nightmare. Yeah, someone said, Alex, I think this game needs more graveyard banishing hate. They've already opened the door on banishing. It's on Time Warp, and it's on and any card that like plays from the deck banishes. Banish Zone exists. I agree that they should utilize that more, and I think they will in the future. But, yeah, there are some cute ways. Actually, Hostile Takeover. Okay, you got me there. It's insane when you go Hostile Takeover Cold a Week, and you're just like, ha 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 ha.
Oh, that
like,
feels so good.
yes. Like, that's the one real punish you have, but that's in one singular deck. That is in exactly one deck, and it's not a very good deck right now.
Listen, tell that to Coco. He's testing it right now.
Oh, is he? Yes. So this is on my list. I want to get to my. I do want to get to some of my my takes on what do you call it? On the metal cards and the promo situation. So I'll only do a few more of these, and we'll try to make them a little bit quicker. Oh, okay. Being slow again. Okay. So this one, this is probably too much personal bias. I hate Falling Star, but I don't even know I'll put it on this list right now. I'm trying to think I had these all in my head. I should have wrote them down, but there are a few more cards.
Falling Star's fine now.
Yeah, Falling Star's kind of fine because now there is an actual counterspell for it. I think once it doesn't defeat the respawners, I think it's like pretty close to acceptable.
And the fact that you can't like bypass, like Zonias and shit like that, it makes it way.
Yeah. There's at least one more. I wish I had better prepared this list because there's definitely another card that I had that I felt like the game would be better off without. Oh! I actually know it. Hold on. I know what it is. This one's
just because of Kaisa.
Yeah, Falling Star, but maybe that's more of a Kaisa problem. I play Falling Star. I play Rek'Sai, so like
Yeah. Sneaky Deckhand. That's true. Fuck that card.
All right, we can talk about Sneaky Deckhand. Let's talk about Sneaky Deckhand. Because this is a card I've also seen people mention. This is not on my list, but I'll put it on here. I like that someone brought this up.
It's
Not
Prismat.
Mind Splitter. I think Mind Splitter is fine. Okay, Prismat. So let's talk about Sneaky Deckhand, Prismat. Let's talk about it. So this was one that I didn't feel strongly about, but a lot of people after this weekend, I saw posts on Twitter. There was discussions amongst our team. Sneaky Deckhand is kind of a dick. He's a sneaky dickhand. Like he's a dickhead. Like he's not fun to play against. Um, I think that. Can we complain about Sabotage? No, I actually love I think Sabotage is a card this
Sabotage
the
is
game
great.
desperately needs. Sneaky Deckhand, Prismat. This is your thing, so I'll let you go off a little bit and chat about it. But I agree that Sneaky Deckhand is very, very aggressive, especially when you're under. Especially with the Obelisk. Like now, the Aurelia deck's a deck that didn't even want creatures originally. Is now playing Sneaky Deckhand because of Obelisk of Power. So now you just go turn one, and there's only one Accelerate in the game that can value trade this. I'll get to that in a sec. But if you go first, you're Obelisk of Power, Sneaky Deckhand. I've got 2 points. Just for free, I've got 2 points. You can't stop me unless you want to spend a removal, which you can't do, obviously. He's still scoring the 1. So you have to spend your turn to either spend a removal or the one Accelerate guy in the game that can get them right there, the Rek'Sai, which I play. I love it when people do that to me. I fear no Aurelias. But for the most part, if you get Sneaky game 1, it's just a free 2 points, and there's nothing you can do about it. And nothing like this card exists in the game. There are Accelerate units, like there is Noxus Rearguard, right? He's an Accelerate, effectively the same thing as Sneaky Deckhand, but he goes to power. And he's kind of the same because he's never winning fights. Like, he's only 2 might, so he's the best he's doing is trading. Sneaky can't be used for the utility of trading, but this is effectively just free points. Like, it's the same. Someone said you can Drake Hound it. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, this guy, what does Prismat say? I'm reading because this is his take. Any early game resource manipulation breaks Deckhand, and the fact that it's a coin flip to find and brick and total brick later on. Yes, it does create feel bad situations. It scores too many points early. It is still a real unit. This guy's not a 1 might. He still trades your 2-drop. Like, if I went and played this, like, even going second, I sneaky you. You played a turn 1 play. If your turn 1 play is just the average 2 might, you can't even value trade me, so I risk nothing. I'm just scoring a point and then trading you. Or I'm double scoring, and now I'm ahead. And I do agree, this is not on my list, but I can see why this is, and I can even make an argument for why I think this guy should be gone. He makes these aggro decks, he risks very little. He makes these aggro decks just kind of like Annie, set 1. He just gives them so much that they should not have. And there's no other Accelerate at this cost except Rearguard, like we said, which is much worse. It costs a power. You're never doing that. Like, this card is just too powerful. So I can kind of agree that I think Sneaky is a card that probably shouldn't exist. I think this was a card that was kind of a mistake, at least at 3 mana. I actually think the MF at 4 is completely acceptable because it does cost a power. It's bigger, but like it does cost a power. It does more. I think they should have made this card cost a power. That would have been the balancing act, right? Like, it's fast, it does its thing, but it's just another Accelerate. It's kind of just like a pseudo Accelerate. You're just stealing 2 points for free when they never intended you to do that. The other cards that I was going to put on here, and no, you won't see any deflect cards here. If you want to hear about the deflect cards, you can go read George's Twitter. The other 2 cards that I was going to kind of put on here were Ride the Wind and Time Warp. Mainly Time Warp. I'm not as offended by Ride the Wind personally. I know some people are, but Time Warp was the kind of the honorable mention. So I think that Time Warp is a card that should have never been in set 1. I think that the Time Warp problem is going to get worse, I imagine, as time goes on, because of what it enables and what it can do, and how it also bottlenecks the way you do anything that cheats resources. If there's ever a way to play Time Warp, like we already have Promising Future, which is terrible, but like if there was a Promising Future type effect that could play Time Warp, it's going to be much more of a problem. I think that card is a problem. I'm not going to put it on here. I think I've kind of got most of this out of my system. Ride the Wind is better than some of these takes. Yeah, some people hate Ride the Wind. I agree. It's a card that cheats the point system. You're cheating points. So I think that's true. I got one more card that I said I'd put on here. Someone did bring this up earlier, and I do want to talk about it. Bring Here Thundersong. This is the last card I'm doing on this. I promise. It's the last one. Last Rites I hate, but I despise Last Rites as a card, but I'm not going to put that on here right now. I think that Last Rites' my problems with Last Rites were with Miracles, and with Miracles gone, I feel a lot less angry towards Last Rites. But I do agree it's a card that probably shouldn't exist. I'm not going to put it here for now. Yeah, actually, Min was the one who... I asked Min before the stream started, how do I put dark mode on so they don't have to...
Yeah, we did it right before the stream.
So, Bring Here Thundersong. I understand why people don't like this, because it is a card that just, like, if you're playing any sort of deck that wants to interact, it just says, nope, you lost the game. Like, Aurelia, this is why I believe Aurelia is kind of like... So, Aurelia is the best, like, the second best deck, but I think a card like this existing is fine to keep decks like Aurelia in check. Because otherwise, I think decks like Aurelia get way, way, way too out of hand. And they probably could have made this a little bit more balanced. Like, shutting off the whole everything is crazy, but they could have said, like, everything costs 1 more. Everything costs 2 more. Nothing can be played's a little crazy to me. Especially, like, if there is ever a way to play this on your opponent's turn, there is, like, a bad way to do it, like, asking for help or whatever that card is, but, like, it's not a good way. But, I do think there is a legitimate reason to be upset about this. I'm not advocating for a ban of this card, but I do see why this is... It just invalidates an entire deck archetype with very little cost to utilizing it, even if I don't think this should be banned. So, I understand, like, this is just a card, it's like a floodgate, right? Like, it just shuts off an entire deck for little cost to you. So, you have Bring Here, Establish, and play Portal Rescue on their turn, sure, but they get to... It's not like a reaction thing, because, like, it's not like Magic where there's, like, a step in the upkeep and stuff, like, yeah. So,
I love J-Bun. I gave someone from Challenger TCG a full Rockfall path for you, Alex. Yeah, don't worry, we got it.
Yeah, we got I'll sign it. Stop bringing me foil ones. Bring me the non-foil ones. I only sign non-foils. I don't sign high-rarity cards. There's like 4 foils signed by me out in the world, or 5 foils signed by me out in the world right now, and that's all I ever want there to be. Those are exclusive. If you have one, you're rich. You'll be rich in 10 years. All right. So, moving on here. I've got the banlist stuff out of my system. There are a few other cards worth noting. Someone mentioned Last Rites. I don't think that's... I hate that card exists, but I don't think that's... I don't think that's it right now. So let me pull up. So
Give
let's...
me a PSP as a Yu-Gi-Oh player. True.
So let's talk a little bit... Let's talk a little bit about... Riftdex.com. Here we go. So hopefully they have... So this should be updated now. This is just for a visual thing. Let's talk about... Actually, I got another page I can bring up here.
I used to sign Yu-Gi-Oh tip cards and give them out to people I beat in regionals.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've heard of people doing that. Okay, so hold on. So I wanna pull this. Where is this? I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. So I have this pulled up now. So I will bring it to you. so you have something visual on stream. I'm told that's very important. Let's talk about the metal leader problem. And it's when I say problem, I know this is the clickbait part of my title. When I say problem, they're not actually a problem. I will say straight up, meta leaders are the most genius prize incentive I've ever seen in a card game. And I've seen best of leaders before. Like Star Wars has it, but they don't give you something special. They just give you the showcase from the set, which are typically like a couple $100 at most. Metal leader cards are the most genius prizing incentive I've ever seen in a card game.
It's
Like
pretty good.
like original, like inventive. Like obviously, like the real genius is just giving away $1 million, but like they are a great way to incentivize diversity in your meta. They are a great way to reward players who might otherwise be casual and are looking for some big prize to come home. And they also let people establish themselves. They're doing interviews for best of meta leaders. They let players kind of like players who might not like be the most competitive, but like if you're the best Garen player, you'll go down in history for that. That'll be your place in. You can have a piece of Riftbound history being the best Garen player. Even if you never topped a regional ever, you never made a day 2, you're the #1 Garen player, and that's your legacy, and that's something cool to players.
That is pretty cool.
So, Alex, what's the problem? Where does the problem begin with meta leaders? Well, there's a couple. And you see, I put slash promos too. Let's talk about that a little bit. But before we do, have you heard about the Challenger TCG Metafy? I got you guys. I got you now. I'll make this one quick because I know where everyone's waiting. But for just $10 a month, you can gain full access to our entire Discord. What does that mean? Well, the entire Challenger TCG team, myself, Min, Colin, Daniel, Anton, all the guys, they're all in there. We're always commenting. We're always posting. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, that's the place to be. For $20, you get access to all of our deck lists. And the tagline, I'm going to have a shirt with this, I swear by it. If we have a secret tech, you have a secret tech. There's nothing in there we don't post. Colin's list is like, that was posted day of. Anton's list, that was everything gets posted in advance. We're not keeping anything a secret from you guys, not one thing whatsoever. And for $50, you get access to our VOD submission stream. So instead of, we have coaching, but if let's say coaching's not for you, you can get in that $50 tier, and you can submit VODs to us that we review to every single Tuesday. And if that wasn't enough, we have guides too. We have tons of guides, and we give a discount at every tier. 33% at bronze, 33% at silver, 50% at gold, and 100% free if you're in that $50 diamond tier. All of our guides free, and we keep pumping them out. We're not done. They keep going and going. As long as you're a member of our diamond tier, you get every guide we make free. That's our highest value. That's our most popular tier by far. So, and we do tons of stuff. We do coaching. We do articles now there. We do absolutely everything, guys. And I'm keeping this one short so we can get back to the excitement. But please check out the Challenger TCG Metafy if you haven't already. We're all in there. We're talking. It's constant. We have a good community. You cut through some of the noise that you might find in bigger Discords. I cannot advocate it enough for you guys. And for those of you on Twitch, please help us out. Throw us a Twitch Prime sub. Min, for some reason my thing is off, so if you see people sub with Twitch Prime, just shout them out, please, because for some reason my thing is not communicating right now. But please help your boys out. Give us those Twitch Prime subs. My dogs eat real expensive Parmesan. Please help them out. All right, let's get into it now. Now our advertisement's done.
Thank you for the Prime sub. We love you. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Joe's a real one. All right, so
we even test for the community too, guys. Just to let you know, do some testing on the stage.
Yeah, we're live in there. We're streaming on Discord. Absolutely,
it's great time.
So let's get in the metal card problem and what the problem is with this. So I just said how great it was. It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest invention ever in TCGs. I imagine every new TCG will start copying this. I think it's so great. I truly believe that it's the greatest prizing ever. So Alex, where's the problem? Well, if you watched my live stream a few weeks back where I discuss, where I talk about how I talked a little bit about how DQ isn't bribing isn't a DQ, and how I thought the metal cards were gonna, with day 2 and more rounds, how the metal cards were gonna impact this thing. Well, everything I said back then was pretty much come to true. People are going to be taking splits. People are going to be taking bribes. People are going to be giving bribes. The integrity of the tournament is going to be altered drastically, even if it's within the frame of the rules. Splitting is legal, and I believe splitting should be legal. I have no qualms with that. But if you went to these last 2 events, Bologna, Vegas, you saw it firsthand. You saw people sitting down and scooping. There's a video on Twitter of a guy literally sitting down, and 20 seconds later, him and his opponent exchange words, and 20 seconds later he stands up. You knew what happened there. Like, come on. So there's a lot of line skirting. One of the most common ones you see is like, and this is not against the rules, you go to your opponent, you see he's a metal card, you're Draven, so you're dead. You know this guy's like about to lock it up. He's like, hey man, I go, hey man, you're in the running for the metal card, right? He's like, yeah, the other guy's actually just 1 match below me. And you're in the last round, you're like, you look at him and you go, would you like to split? And he goes, actually, I would. Great, I scoop. I didn't offer. That's legal, by the way. Completely legal. And so, I think that this is part of the problem. So how do you fix this? How do you fix this absolute mess of a situation where this is going to continue ad nauseum forever throughout this game's lifespan? And I think the answer is simple. Why do players do this? In day 1, for people who are X3, whatever, you can't control those people. But for people in day 2, the reason they're doing this is because there's no incentive to play for anything but top 8 or your metal card. Look at this.
Thanks for the prime sub, Don Claus.
Thank you. Look at this pricing. 17th or 32nd, $250. That's nothing. Nothing. A metal cards are going for $10,000 to $30,000 depending on what they are. Or I can beat this guy and get $250. Like, Riot, the only way they can fix it, it's not making the judge staff more vigilant. I do think that is something they should do. It's not trying to like catch players or go out of your way to police them or make all these rules. It's very simple. Just offer better pricing. Promos. You don't even have to do cash. Keep the cash the same. Do what Lorcana does. Offer an exclusive promo at every tier up. Even for the people at 128. Like, anybody who makes day 2, they should pretty much be getting a promo. Like, there should be some cutoff where everybody makes day 2, they get some sort of promo. And then at the next tier, 256 or 128, they get a promo. 64, etc., etc., etc. Now people have something to play for, and they have a reason to go, nah, metal, I don't want to scoop to your metal card because it's a risk, it's up in the air, you might miss, you might screw me over, I'm not trying to, like, rig this, go to, like, you have people going up to the other leaders in day 2, which, again, I don't think this is scummy by any means. This is something that Riot needs to fix. I don't have an issue with this, but people finding the other guy in there and just being like, let's split. Or they're finding one of the 3 other guys and being like, I will split with you, let's hope the other guy doesn't make it. Like, so 64 is an invite for nationals, but, like, a lot of people, like, when you're at X3, you're already, like, kind of there. Or if you're X2, you're locked for that, so now the metal card manipulation still happens. Also, what happens when you already have your invite? Now there's really nothing. Or some people don't care about the invite. They only care about money. Like, for a lot of people, you guys have to remember, they're not diehards. Like, for them, it's just about money for a lot of these people. Some people, it is about the invite. But the only way to reasonably fix this issue is that you have to start offering better prizes. And I understand, like, this, like, it's hard to give more cash, right? They're already giving out, what, 25,000 at these events? So it's hard to give more cash. So promos cost them nothing to print, and they're worth infinite. Like, we've seen how much the promos go for in this game. Something that cost them a fraction of a penny for them makes you hundreds of dollars, and now you have a reasonable staggering. It actually makes the high end ones worth more because they're harder to get. There are other promos, but when there's just one promo, it's so much less desirable. But once you have a staggered tier, like the Lorcana promos, the gold Mickeys are like they're like the equivalent of getting your winner card, right? Or the first place card. They're like 10 bands, 15 bands, whatever. I don't know the price right off the top of my head. And if you just offered more promos along the line, you would cut out so many of these issues because now people actually have something to fight for. And if these promos are anything like they are in Lorcana, they're going to be worth almost as much as this metal card shop is. Like, if I get the top 256 promo, the day 2 promo, the top 128 promo, the top 64 promo, that's 4 promos. Even if those promos, like, let's say the 64 one is 500, and this is probably low. Let's say the 64 one is 500, the next one's 250, 100, 100. That's $1,000 just for top 64, which, okay, maybe that's not as good as a metal card split, of course. But one, metal card splits are risky. But when there's nothing to win, you just risk it anyways. Because you're just like, well, I already have an invite. I can't get anything else. So I'll take the metal card split because I literally can't win anything else. Or I'll just scoop to this guy in the hopes that he gets there. But once you put $1,000, $2,000, and I think my estimation was low because I think there's like a limited number as long as you make the promos cool. I think my estimation is quite low. If you start putting $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 worth of cards in front of people, I promise you there's going to be a lot less metal card splitting. There's going to be a lot less of this like manipulation. People are going to be incentivized to play.
Yeah.
I like IDs, by the way. This is not an argument against IDs. I think IDs are great. I would never remove IDs from the game. That's my take on that. I'm not going to go into why I think this. IDs are great. You can't get rid of them. Yeah, IDs are awesome.
Yeah, I agree. Like, do the top 64, do promos, do the top 32 promos. They're great in other games. They work in other games. And people love your IP. Just take advantage of it.
Right. Some people hate IDs. This is a big debate in the SWU community. Again, not going to get much into it, but I understand why some people hate IDs. I think they're just I like IDs. I've been a fan for years. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Were you saying something, Min?
I said I think they're fine, but the biggest thing is like the top 8 promos as well. Change the art on them. Like, stamp them, do something, man. That little symbol of the bomb is not it.
I won't spend the time talking about the logistics of what will make the promos worth more. I'm sure someone at Riot has the brain power to figure that out. Stamp them, serialize them. I think serialize is the way to go. Personally, it just shows that there's a limited number of them. Like, serialize them the whole way up. Make the top 8 serialized. Make them good things too. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, Bone Shiver, that ain't it, bro. Like, come on, Bone Shiver. Like, that's just that's such a bash over the head. So I think that's part of the metal. That's part 1 of my metal card problem. Part 2 of my metal card problem. And this does not relate to a tournament. This relates to the way people perceive game health. While it is great to diversify the meta, I see too many people going like on socials, on Twitter, on YouTube, on wherever it may, Discord, wherever it may be, going, Draven's actually not that bad, guys. It was only 15% of the meta. And Magic, Nadu was insert percentage. I don't know. 50% or whatever. But this is fake. People, and that's something I hope that, one, people can realize when communicating their public sentiment, because you have to remember, a lot of these people who are giving their opinions, they don't go to events. A lot of them don't play above locals. So they only look at the data kind of and go, this is fine. And because they're playing in their locals environment, sometimes they don't always feel the burn of having to play against Draven because people don't want to play it. People have agreed not to play it for whatever reason. Maybe they're the Draven player themselves. Who knows? So I think that this is a smaller part of the metal card problem, but it's something that I want the community as a whole to kind of recognize, is that when you look at this data, understand how the metal cards are impacting it. And while you might think, well, that's good, right? They're making it healthier, but they're disguising a problem, I think, at times, especially with the community where you're right, they have done a lot to diversify the meta, and I think that's great, but that doesn't make the problem decks any less problematic. These decks are still issues. Draven just took 4 out of 4 slots. Like, it's still an issue. And I promise you, and I'll eat my words on this, in a week and a half, we're going to have the Charlie's 25K, PPG 25K on the same weekend. Look at how much diversity there is in those versus what these events are. Because the moment the metal card leaders are removed from play, it's every man for himself. Like, it's going to just be everybody's trying to play the best decks. Like, you're not going to see these Renata Glass players showing up. Like, you're not going to see the Garen players showing up. They're going to play actual decks. And there still will be a mix of casual stuff. People are still going to play their pet decks because they genuinely like them. But I say this to the community because I want the public sentiment not to sway designers too much. And I communicate this to the designers too, and I think they know this, but I want them to not understand that when they look at this data, when they review results, they look at it and they understand actual problems. Like, they don't just go, well, Draven's only 15%, that's not that bad. Even when the results aren't there, like you take Bologna, all the Dravens got knocked out, the 3 Dravens got knocked out in top 8. And I don't want people to go, oh, I thought Draven was broken, why isn't it winning the event? It doesn't have to win. That's the thing. It's about representation. It's about numbers. It's about how many of them are getting into top cut. Like, how many of them are converting to day 2, and it's always over-converting. It's always bad. And if you took these metal cards away, it'd be even worse. This deck is still broken. Just because the play rates are lower because of the metal card doesn't make it any less of a problem. It's still an issue. And I want people to be able to look at this data kind of objectively and go, yes, this is skewed because of the metal cards, but these things are a problem. Same with devs. And that's kind of the second part of the metal card problem that I have. I think prizing in general, like I said, needs to improve. It does feel very bad. Truly, it feels awful right now that if you play the best deck, the only way you're making, like if you're playing Draven, the only way you're actually making a real amount of money is to win the event. Colin got top 4. He walked away top 4 at a 1,600 man event. A 1,600 man event where they collect anywhere from $100 to $500 for each entrant. And the number that they pay to enter doesn't really matter because of venue costs, blah, blah, blah. But just a reference, something where they collected infinite money from, like infinite money, over $100,000 probably. Definitely over $100,000, I think. But Colin, for his troubles in top 4, he walked away with 2,000 cash and this promo that's probably, I don't know, let's say $2,000 on a good day. On a good day. But let's say it's 2, maybe 3 grand. Let's say it's $3,000. So he walked away at the best. He walked away with $5,000 for making top 4 at a 1,600 person event. Which, on paper, you might say, well, Alex, Magic Grand Prix pay about the same. Yeah, but that prizing sucks too. I'm never gonna add. I hate Magic. I think Magic's prizing was good 20 years ago when it was 10,000 for first place at a GP and no game gave even close to that. But you gotta get with the times. Like, it's gotta be a lot more now to incentive. It feels bad for your top players. Like, to play through this entire tournament, play the best deck, top 4, and only 2,000. This is guaranteed. If the promo's absolute shit, it could be less than that. He might actually walk away with $3,000 because the promo only sells for 1,000, and that doesn't feel good. Like, you make more playing at these 25, the PPG or the Charlie's event that's going to have like 400 players or something. You'll make more money playing at those than you will in their actual official events because of the way the prizing is structured right now. But if they up these promos, now he's walking away with a bag of promos. Like, he's got infinite. Or maybe they decide, like, if you make top 8, we top you off. Not what you think it means. They fill your promo sets. They fill your promo sets out where, like, now you made top 8, so you get 3 of all the descending promos. So that top 64 promo, you're getting 3 of that. Like, this costs you nothing to do. It's a no-brainer. Why shouldn't you do this? There's no reason ever there's no reason I can think of why you wouldn't just give out more promos. It doesn't cost you anything. It makes it better for your players. So I think that's the end of my rant on the metal card problem and the kind of the promo issue and the way the pricing is. And this is not a me, I want more thing. This doesn't cost. I mean, it is a little, but like you're trying to incentivize players to play your game. Like competitive is important to your game, just like locals is. Like players want something to look up to, right? Like it's like you're building these storylines, you're doing all these things. You want competitive players to help build the media and the kind of a legacy around your game. Like Magic, that's a huge thing. Like so many players, different storylines. Magic puts a lot of money into promoting that. But you need players, you need high caliber players to want to play your game. You want these people to be motivated. You don't want them to just be like, yeah, I'm going to take a split for a metal card because I can't, there's nothing better at the top for me. You want people to be motivated to be playing your top cut. So that's kind of the end of my rant on that. Min, what do you got, buddy? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean to egg on to the point where you said that the pricing is very similar to like Grand Prix back in the day, right? Uh, and for Magic, which was good, I agree with you 100%. And people keep telling me that too. It's like a GP back in the day, you had no problems with it back then. It's different now. Even the GPs now, they brought Magic brought back GPs. I don't know if you know this, Alex, but they're
I
called
did.
Spotlight Series now, right?
Yep. I did. I was aware of them. Yes.
And the pricing is much better on them now. I just sent you a screenshot of the one in Richmond coming up. I think it's next weekend or something like that. That
Okay.
Spotlight
So
Series.
I didn't mean to talk dirt on Magic's name. I thought I thought it was still like 10,000 to first, or top four is 5,000. So I apologize to speak dirt on Magic's name, but like
First is 10,000 stuff like that too, but it's not
sure.
just that. You have like you have these promos for 128 now, which sell for like $400 or $500. You know what I'm saying? Like they're foil promos, like, people love them. I sold one of my foil promos from a Spotlight from a top 128 for $800 at like the last
Uh,
Spotlight series I went to. It's actually kind of like good. You know what I'm saying? But also you get an invitation to the PT. Now, PT minimum payout is like probably like 2K or something like that. I don't know. I've earned like 2.5 the last couple, right? And the worlds, like if you make it to worlds, you also the minimum payout for worlds is 4K. So it's not just these
yeah, it's
prizes, it's
right.
the
Okay,
worlds
so
as well.
and I get so I know it. Some people might say, "Well, Alex, this is an RQ. This is the lowest level of event." Yeah, but we don't have anything else right now. And again, it doesn't
We
cost
don't
them
have any
anything to print more
estimation either.
promos. Like it doesn't hurt them. Do you think players are going to be like, "There's too many promos at this event. I'm not playing." Like, or like the card economy crashes. Like the booster price crashes because they gave out too many promos for Top Cut. Like, no, it doesn't hurt them. Just give more promos out. It's the best thing you can do. People love that. Even if the
Yep.
promos all ended up being completely worthless, which they won't, players will still be happier for it. Like, nobody is mad about free stuff. Unless it's just literal, like, garbage. Nobody ever gets mad about free stuff. So, uh, I guess I'll get to some questions real quick as we kind of wind down here. Um,
By the way, shouldn't the
some
event start on Friday and then top players on Sunday? Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
yes. That's a
Agree.
great. This is not going to be the subject of the stream, but I did see Vero make a post about that. Yes, we talked about it today, actually. I think Friday, they should do it reverse, where Friday's 5 rounds. You can start at the same time, like 1 p.m., like they have been doing. Friday's 5 rounds. Then you do the 8. You do the 8. I know they want to have their day 2 thing, so maybe they could even start early. They could do their 8 rounds Friday, whatever. I don't care how they do it. Split it up. Make it day 2 qualify, whatever. I don't care. Start Friday, finish up Saturday, give the players time to go home though, because you do X amount of rounds on Saturday. Players don't have to get home at like midnight. One problem in Bologna is we literally couldn't find places to eat because we got done both
Oh God,
days. We had
yes.
to just DoorDash. Like that sucks. Like I know it has to happen one of the days, but not both of them. So you can have day 2, everybody can go get well rested for Top Cut or whatever. They can eat a meal with their boys, whatever it may be. Day 3, now you can still have people in the venue. Because the problem was at this event, I was told they just kicked everybody out of the venue. Nobody could watch top 8. Well, that's awful. Like, who wants to win in an empty venue? You're declared the champion, and you're just I'm the champion to echoing concrete walls. Like that's ass. Nobody wants
Yeah,
that,
I
right?
agree.
Like so I think that having 3 days I understand one, it's a logistical nightmare, so I like understand why this may not be possible. I understand it puts a lot more stress on players to take more time off work, which they're probably trying to avoid. But I don't think it. I think it makes more of a celebration too. Like for a lot of players, this is a vacation. The majority, this is not like a. I'm coming here to like be a cutthroat and try to like literally spike the tournament. It's just like, yeah, I want to go hang out at Riot. Like these should be like Riot Fest, like Bandai does with Bandai Fest, where it's like, yeah, I want to go hang out with my boys for the weekend. I want to go travel. Like I'll make a third
Magic
day
Con.
out of it. Right, exactly. Like you could make it even start late enough Friday if you wanted so that people could just take off Friday instead and get like early morning flights. Like if you started it at 1, it's very reasonable for people. They work all day Thursday, they either fly on Thursday night or they fly in Friday morning. And just like they go to their hotel, they go to the venue or they drop their bags off, whatever. They had bag services too at the event. So like easy
That was
enough.
pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah, and that's probably more of a logistical issue. I can see where the problems are, so I'm not going to push too hard on that, but I think that would be a quality of life change for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
and I know a lot of people there were like like metal card farming. This was for Las Vegas. I don't know how it was in Bologna. I imagine it's the same, but there are a lot of people there just like playing side events too and enjoying playing Riftbound. And you want that in your community. You don't want just a hard cut competition. You want people enjoying all walks of life there. There should be like an artist alley where people are loving the artistry, the cosplay. You know, there were a couple really cool cosplayers in Las Vegas. Those should have been more celebrated, to be honest with you. They should have like cosplay costumes. People come up to meet and greet cosplayers. Those would have been so good. But yeah, again, that would require more of a show, which I think they should do. They should celebrate not only Riftbound, but their game and like in general, their IP, right?
um, and I agree with pretty much all of that. I think eventually they'll move to like maybe they'll do like Riot Con like Bandai does Bandai Fest, where it's like they have TFT, they have Riftbound, they have maybe
Yes.
Valorant. I don't know, but I would hope maybe
Please
that's
don't do
possible.
TFT. I'm gonna get stuck
I
in the
don't know.
TFT hell
I don't.
again.
I've never played TFT, so I've never played a single game in my life.
Listen, I'm
Uh,
too addicted to TFT. I had to delete it like while I was testing for this fucking tournament.
yeah, yeah. So people are confirming the venue thing. Uh, someone said hot take. Should be best of ones day one and best of threes day two. I'm not touching that hot take.
Oh,
That's Ghost Pepper. That's
that's
Carolina
smart.
Reaper shit. Like yeah, that is a yeah. That's a hot take.
Holy
Uh,
shit. That's
what
crazy.
Someone asked, is a ban list confirmed? No, this is just speculation. I assume there will be a ban list. I can't imagine they can pretend like there won't be one. But like I said, if there's not, there'll be a much larger rant by me to be had. But there's no confirmation. I have no personal confirmation that there's a ban list. I haven't even really heard rumors. So I'll be honest, this is just purely speculative.
Let's just say he's
Uh,
just trying to he's calling a shot right now, you know?
yeah, which might be banned. Hopefully, will be banned. Alex, what did you think of the production differences between Bologna and Vegas? In my opinion, this has stood true across pretty much every TCG I've played. I don't know why. Every country that's not America always has better production value. I always feel this to be true. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch Bologna because I was there. So I don't actually know what the production values of Bologna looked like. I will tell you that in my experience, the production value in everywhere but America is always better. In every game I've ever played, Europe just always blows us out of the water with production value. And I think that has to do with venue costs, just what Wi-Fi costs, what good internet costs, what plugs cost. I think it's a cost thing. I don't know. I'm told there's some other factors. I don't know all of that. But I believe it's mostly related to cost. So, um,
I will say I
uh,
haven't seen the Atlanta yet until we did the VOD review yesterday for the Diamond Subs. Me, Coco, and Colin did the VOD review. And we watched it, and I was so impressed with how it was laid out for America this time around. Like I loved it.
Someone is Alex DeGrasse going to be in Vancouver? I do. I've never been to Vancouver for a card game event. They're not usually there, but I will be there more than likely. Um, Vegas stream was so dark. Yeah, I mean, just bad lighting. Uh, day one, best of one, but 24 rounds, so the same amount of matches played. Jesus.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
that's gonna be a no for me, dog. You've lost me there. Did either of you guys play
Wait,
League? I never played
this is
League.
sick.
I've never played a game of League in my life.
I used to play
Uh,
League, and I don't do that anymore. But I'll play ARAM every once in a while.
so I will leave you guys with this. The problem. Some people were like, I don't agree with you guys on the metal card thing. It's not a problem. It's the greatest invention ever in prizing, except like, okay, like Spoils said you could, like, if you guys remember the original iteration of Spoils, if you won, you got to ride on the booty bus for like a week or whatever, and they took you on a cruise and like all sorts of crazy stuff. Like, maybe that was a little better. I don't know. I didn't play the game. Not that they gave anybody that shit anyways, but like, yeah. So, I think that the metal prizing is great. I just think there are some ways they could alleviate a lot of these issues. So yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. I said that was kind of a clickbait. I think there are some things that could get better with it. Um, uh, anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for tonight. Thanks again for coming out, guys. Hopefully, I don't know when these bans will be. I would hope. I mean, ideally for me, they'd be fucking tonight at 12 p.m. or midnight. I don't know if they'll be this week, next week. They might wait till after the Chinese Nationals. I don't know what they're gonna do. There could be no bans at all. They could just literally say, yeah, fuck it, we'll let it ride. We got 2 more sets of regionals. Maybe we'll do something set 4 or set 3. I don't know what they're gonna do. But I can't imagine they're not going to do something. And at the very least, I would like them to address it. I would like them to acknowledge publicly that they either think this isn't an issue or they think this is an issue and they're going to do something, or vice versa. Like, I would like there to be some sort of statement, because I think it has gotten to the point where something needs to be said. I don't believe that they can stick their head in the sand. I do not want to see another Dave Guskin. You guys haven't figured out the secret deck yet. Trust me, it's out there. You gotta keep looking. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, so I'll leave you with that. Thanks for coming out, guys. I will catch you guys later.